Hey, I'm Zach, and I just read I Want More Pizza. It is by Steve Burkholder. So, there's more to being financially secure than having a good paying job. It is good to reward yourself, but saving goes a long way. So, save 25% of what you make. So, for example, let's say you make $100,000 a year, you want to save around 25,000. So, and that quote was by, and then here's a quote by Gene Chasky: saving requires us to not get things now so we can get bigger ones later. And so here's a big part of saving, and you can get one of these for pretty cheap. Piggy bank. This one's a Pokemon piggy bank, so it's pretty cool. And the first slice is about you. So being young and having time is a huge advantage. So let's say you're 40 years old and you're trying to save for retirement. I mean, you're not going to have much time to save for retirement. You're going to save a lot of money each year, and you're getting older, so it's harder to save. But now, if you're younger, you can save a little bit at a time while still staying financially comfortable and secure. So there are many different ways you can save, and it all depends on your financial situation. Your financial situation could be you're poor, you're rich, you're just kind of middle class, just kind of getting by. Anyone can save, and I mean, you can put it into a savings account, you could do a direct deposit, and you can do it. I mean, there's so many ways. It doesn't matter how much you make. So let's say you cut down 5 coffees a month. That's saving $25 a month and around $300 a year just by cutting down coffee. So, I mean, it's not hard. There's little things you can do. It's easy. Second slice, saving. There are many reasons people save: happiness, achieving our dreams, and supporting our values. So, I mean, everyone has their motivation, and some are for needs, some are for wants. So obviously, some people are going to be more motivated than others. It doesn't matter how much money you make, because no matter what, it depends on how much you save instead of how much you spend. Save. So autosaver is a great way to save. It automatically puts the amount you want into your savings account. So let's say you make $80,000 a year and you say, I want to put 10% of that in a savings account. You can just pretty much just tell the bank, I want 10% of that in there. So, I mean, it's really easy to save. You don't have to do anything, touch anything. So it's a really good way to save. Third slice, growing your savings. Five common forms of investing. Savings account. So that's just simply putting the money that you don't want to spend right away into your account. CD, your certificate of deposit. So that is a kind of like a savings account, but it has a higher interest rate, and you can make a lot of money over time. You can make tons of money from that. Stocks are basically companies and their value, and you can buy shares for them, and depending if they go up or down, you can make or lose money, but you got to be very careful because you can lose a lot of money if you put all your money in there. Bonds are, you get a certain amount of money, and that money turns into a lot more in the future. Mutual funds are professional investment, like people do it for you, and they kind of invest in certain stocks, certain companies for you, and you don't have to do anything. So risk versus reward. So for every risk, there's a high reward, and depending on if it's a low risk, low reward, high risk, high reward, and you really just gotta make calculated risks because you don't want to make too big of a risk to where you're losing money, but you got to pick and choose what you want to risk. Slice 4, debt. There are 2 primary financial risks: interest and overspending. So obviously overspending can put you in tremendous debt, and it just gets out of hand and you can't recover from it. Credit cards. So for example, credit card right here. So let's say you don't have enough money to buy that. You basically put it on your credit card, then it's basically kind of like a loan. You get the money now, so then you have to pay it back later. And depending on how quick or how fast you pay it back, they get your credit score up or down. So that lets them know that you're a reliable customer and you will pay it back. And debit cards are basically money you can spend at one time, and they're also very risky because you have a lot of money at one time and it can get out of hand. To-do list. Overcome your mental block. So overcoming your mental block can be hard, thinking that you don't make enough money to save or you don't want to change your lifestyle, but it's very necessary because in the future you'll be way more comfortable. Save, which basically just means that put away money that you don't need so you can buy things later. Don't get into trouble with debt or investing. So student loans, make sure you don't pay back. Make sure you have enough money to pay it back so you don't get in trouble. So if you're making a job, you're basically just getting money to pay that debt off, and you're never really making money. So in investing, just make sure you're investing in the right stocks, not making too many risks. Just because it's not safe, you can lose a lot of money. And that's it for I Want More Pizza.
Hey, I have a question. Do you have a personal story you could tell about saving and spending and how it might have affected you?
Yeah, so when I worked at the grocery store here in Manston, I made around $2,000. And at first I didn't want to spend any of it because I was really protective of it because it was the first time I ever had money. So, but eventually I spent money on one thing, that led to another thing, and eventually I spent money on shoes, everything, video games, and all of a sudden I was out of money, and I was like, I could have got a car. You really just gotta get your priorities straight when it comes to saving. And so that's it for this presentation on I Want More Pizza.